Yeah, okay. So you can see here as now started, the question really is, as you can see, very simple. Instead of saying comment and so on, because people sometimes they ask, what do you mean by this and what do you mean by that and so far. I think by now, this is should be very clear. Again, I say mention some key poetic or novelistic elements of each quote. Now I say poetic because the one quotation is from poetry, and they say novelistic again to talk about the novel, of course, because Crime and Punishment is a novel. So what I mean by poetic or novelistic elements, so I wanted to talk about the style, for example, of the poem, the language used, the structure, the metaphors, the poeticism of this quotation, the rhyme, if you have a rhyme. So to talk about the style in one sentence or two sentences. And in the same way, in the novel, also you have to tell me this is by the narrator or by this character, and the whole novel is, of course, you can see both are actually translations. So they are not really written in the original sense in this way. But of course, the way we see it, we have a narrator, a third-person narrator who is interfering and commenting and blah, blah, blah. So you talk about, again, one or two sentences about this question of poetic or novelistic elements. I mean the stylistic qualities of this quotation that you have in front of you. And the last point, which is really the most important, I say, for each quotation, don't write more than 300 words, because I don't want a lot, But I say here, I say well-structured paragraph, meaning I really want you to formulate all this in a nice paragraph, not in points, not in, separated or segregated sentences. I want it to be nicely written in a nice structured, well-structured paragraph with a clear topic sentence and with a clear thesis statement. How can you do that? Of course, you should know it by now. You should know how and what is really a good paragraph. And for each quotation, you should give me a good paragraph, no more than 300 years, 300 words for each one, okay? And you mentioned all this, your analysis and commentary about the themes, the ideas, whatever you want to mention from the quote, because here you are commenting on the quote itself, exactly the quote itself, and reflect about its meaning and its significance throughout the source text, which is throughout the poem or throughout the novel, briefly. So, but as I say, don't write more than 300 words, because I don't want you to elaborate and elaborate and elaborate. Sometimes I say more ideas or more elaborations because some people don't write much. They write very little. So that's why in my comments in the previous exam, maybe some of you or many of you said, or, I wrote to them, I want more, So this is the first question. Only two quotations, one from the poem, one from the novel. Of course, you can see the quote. I'm sure you will know where the quote is. And you have to tell me, for example, the novel, who is speaking and to whom and what is the significance, because this is very important. Otherwise, you will lose, because if you say something else, then you would be out of the question. You will be really deviated a lot from the main question. And question two, as I said, really here I say write a well-organized essay around 400 words on one of the following topics, and I give you two titles. Choose one for the essay. Okay, and that's it. I give you two titles, choose one for 10 marks, and the passages 5 marks each. That means again 10 marks question 1, 10 marks question 2. Each passage 5 marks. Okay, clear?
Yes, doctor.
Right, very good. Very good. If you still have any question, you can ask me anytime you like, no problem. Now, to go back to our real life situation today, as you can see, I'll go back to Yerma, and the main play, as I said, you can see. I think I was still reading in nearly the beginning. Now, please, can you see my screen again?
Yes, it's clear.
Yeah, good. Now, yeah, okay, good. Now, the main, as you can see, the main question, as I told you before, briefly, really, it's a tragedy. It's a terrible tragedy, social, really social, ideological, maybe mainly social, really tragedy. It's to do with even psychological. The question of here, the question of motherhood, and the question of honor, and the question of pride, and the question of really society, and how you look at society, and the question of respect, and the question of, as I said, mainly again honor, because at the end of the day, Yerma killed her man because he accused her of her honor, and really she couldn't tolerate it. She couldn't accept it. She was always waiting and waiting and waiting, hoping that she will get what she wants. She wants a child like anybody else. She wants a baby like anybody else, because this is her own feeling. The motherhood question, which is, as I said, this is typical of any woman, any young lady who's getting married. She would be thinking about having a child and so on. Of course, this is the elaboration. The play here really elaborated this, maybe exaggerated this. Maybe Yerma became a bit overexcited, and maybe over-exaggerating her urge towards this question of having a baby, having a child. But this is it. This is really the drama about it. But you see, the question here again is her reputation, her name. Everybody is looking at her and calling her Yerma, which is the barren woman, the dead woman, the woman who can't give birth to children. I mean, she is not a dead land. She is a fertile land. So here really the idea that she is being classified, she is being, marginalized as being a barren girl, a barren wife who can't have children, looking at other women who are having, for example, the people she met. For example, the first people here, she met Maria, the girl here like her who were married at the same time. And now she's telling her she's having her baby. She's preparing the stuff for the baby, and the way she feels about having the baby in her, and the way she feels about being pregnant and so on, which is again, the details about that, of course, made really Yerma feel maybe so happy and yet jealous, maybe happy and maybe more jealous that she's not pregnant herself, and so on. So the idea really is, as I'm saying, is more than just having a baby. It's not just having to being pregnant and so on. It's the question of, identity, the question of position, the question of strength, the question of individuality, the question of her own character, because she was terribly angry by her husband especially when later on we shall see he brought his own sisters to watch over her, to maybe oversee her, and to maybe to be like, you know, always spying on her. And she said, you know, why did you bring your sister to spy on me, and I'm not doing anything? If I'm going out, and even if I walk in the street, I just go out and bring water from the spring, and, you know, there's nothing whatsoever that you should worry about, and you are playing, you know, accusing me of my honor and so on. You know, this is devastating to her, because this is about her own individuality, her own really entity and identity as a woman, as a respectful, honorable, absolutely respectful, honorable wife, who is totally decent, 100% faithful, and so on. So that's why really the tragedy happened, and the shock, absolute shock, when he accused her of her honor. She said, come on, how can you do that? How can you accuse me of whatever? Because he didn't only accuse her of Victor, as we shall see. You know, Victor was only just a young, you know, very young boy when she said the first time I felt happy, or I maybe felt in love or something, when, you know, when I was only 13 or 14 or something, when Victor touched me or whatever. You know, the idea is about, again, innocence, you know, the question of innocent love and so on. Really, the whole idea is that about the questionnaire. And the most important part, again, is the gossip, the question of society gossiping and always prescribing and describing and saying terrible things about her, because her name, Yerma, is given to her by society, by people, by her husband, by everybody else, indirectly, to say, they point at her, the barren woman, the dead woman. And she would say, I am not dead, I'm not barren woman, I'm not Yerma, you know, in the Spanish, of course, sound here, you see? So really, this is the whole tragedy. At the end of the day, we say, well, you know, it's a shame. You know, she's wrong, of course. She was wrong to have done that. Yes, it's a crime. Yes, it's a crime. And maybe now she's, you know, she said at the end when she killed him, she said, I have killed my own child. You know, I have killed my own opportunity of having a child. And as if I have killed my own baby. You know, so really, this is the tragedy. The punishment is totally psychological. We shall see later on, because the play here is looking at this idea that the punishment was physical as well as you know, psychological. Because originally Yerma lived for about 5 years, psychologically tormented and being angry all the time and worried and doing all the crazy things, asking all possible ways of finding out how to get pregnant and what to do and so on and so forth. And we don't blame her, you know, nobody should blame her, because she wants a baby, and I think she deserves that. And, you know, the funny and maybe the childish and maybe the womanish attitudes that she was doing, we understand that. But you see, the idea here, we see all those years, she said, you know, for 5 years I've been married, for 5 years, and I still have no child, you know. And she said that really in many ways. And that's what I'm saying, you know, all those years were really both physical punishment and psychological punishment, because many times even she said to her husband, come on, man, you are a man and you are not staying at home. You are always outside. You are always working in the field. You don't stay at home, you don't sleep at home, you are crazy about work and so on. And even people told her, even Victor and other people said to her, your husband is not a real sort of a normal, you know, man in that sense. So the exaggeration here, you can say, well, it's over-exaggerated, you know, really over-exaggerated. Yeah, could be, you can say that. But the question is, there are people like this. There can be people like this even in reality. Remember, this is a play, you know, a realistic play written in 1930s. in European society, in rural Spanish society. It's a rural, really village Spanish society. It happened in any village. It can happen in any village in our world, in any really society, Indian or Arab or whatever. It is there, exactly there, okay? So here, as you can see in this section, when she was speaking with Maria, Maria is an example of a young married woman like her who is talking about her pregnancy, and she was speaking here in a really, nice way, in very romantic way. Here, notice she said, "Don't ask, have you ever held a live bird cubbed in your hands? It's the same, but keep inside you." Maria is, in a childish way, really thinking and talking and expressing how she feels, because now she's expressing her feeling of being pregnant and so on. It's really very emotional, and people, young ladies or young married women or early, or even any, all women, maybe married women, would feel this. And, people or women who had children, they know this. And of course, that's what I'm seeing, the emotionality and the really the natural, the absolute realistic, because this is reality, because babies in the bellies of their mums, in their wombs, they do this and they move and so on. And it's very touching and very emotional. And we understand that. You really you can see here, notice, for example, Yerma, and that makes you love him more when you can say, "My son." It's really a tragedy here, because that's her really, if you like, the psychological complex. She wants to say, "My baby, my child, my son, my boy," And really, this is the idea in any way, of course. The idea really, the question here, she talks here about how she talks to her husband. And the question here, again, this is very intimate and realistic, again, very realistic. She's saying, how do you talk to your husband? How do you treat each other? How do you go on about, doing things together? And the way she expresses this really is very lovely and very touching. And of course, really is very lovely, really. Notice here, if you like, Yerma feels, if you like, in a way, really sad about this. Notice, that's how it is. Of course, there's still time. Helena took 3 years, and others in my mother's day even longer, but 5 years and 20 days like me. So you see now, she's saying, I've been married for 5 years, and notice, it's a shame. She's counting it by days. By days. I mean, this is really sad, isn't it? She's very emotional about it. She said, I've been married for 5 years and 20 days. Like me, she said, it's too long to wait. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. I understand that, we understand that. She's been waiting for 5 years, and I think any woman, any normal woman, any real woman who wants a child, she would worry and she would ask, and she would really ask her husband, come on, man, are you going to have a child or not? This is really the idea here. And I fully support her. I really fully understand her. And I blame her man completely. And she said, I don't think it is right for me to wear away my life here. She's saying, come on, I'm wasting my life. To wear away, to waste my life. I'm wasting myself, my body. Many a night. Notice really this lovely expression. Many a night. Many a night. I go out in the yard barefoot to walk about. I don't know why. If I go on like this, I will end badly. Do we believe her? Yeah? Hello? Any comments? Are you still asleep? Wake up! Hello? So the idea really, anyway, the idea here, as I said, is very clear, I think, and we follow what she's saying in so many ways. You know, is interesting really to say here again, to see the way Yerma really understands very well what it means to have a child and what it means to have a baby, and the question of responsibility and the love and the feelings and so on that you will have to your baby. And she said here, she's saying here in a nice passage, you can see about the question of, you know, the question of bringing up a child, because it's not easy, it's not simple to say I want a baby, because having a baby or having a child is a huge responsibility, is a huge, really important step for people to take care of a baby, how to bring up a baby, how to really completely care for it in that sense. So that's why here, when Maria said, they say you suffer a lot with children. Notice here the idea, she said suffer, because you know, she's using the word suffer. And Maria, as again, as you see, Maria is her friend who is like her, the same age, and even married after her. But still, you know, she's using phrases and things like this. And Yerma answers this. She, you know, you're saying suffer? Why do you say suffering? It's a lie, she said. It is a lie. It's not suffering. That's what weak, complaining mothers say. Only weak mothers would say it's suffering. Only complaining mothers say it's suffering. Bringing up a child, having up a child, you know, it's not suffering. It's responsibility. It is care. It is love. It is humanity. It is really humanism. And that's what she's saying. Only those weak women would say that. Only those complaining, moaning mothers would say that. Why do they have them? If you want to say suffering, why do you have them? Having a child is no bouquet of roses. We must suffer if they are to grow. Yeah, I sometimes think we must give half our blood to them. Look at this, the sacrifice here. She said, come on. We give life to our babies from our own bodies. We give them our life, our blood, you know. And I think this is absolutely normal, natural, realistic. And as I said, this is really the question here of the play in the 1930s. The question of realism was a reaction, to some extent, reaction against the modernist trend, which is the art for art's sake, or not looking for reality or realism. And here really Lorca is giving us this question about absolute naturalist, absolute realist, you know, text. She's saying here, you know, I sometimes think we must give half our blood to them, but that's good. That's good, healthy, beautiful. If you do that, this is the lovely thing. This is the healthy thing. This is the beautiful thing, to give to give your body to your kids. Every woman has enough blood for 4 or 5 children, and when she does not have them, it sours her, as it shall me. If I don't give birth to children, I'm going to explode, she said, because I have enough blood for a lot of children. And if I don't give children, if I don't give birth to children, this blood in me will explode. You know, this is, of course, you know, she means sour, you know, sour. And really, this is really the idea here. Again, maybe Yerma is exaggerating, but I think she is very real. She is very real, and I understand her. And to some extent, I understand her reaction. Of course, I'm not saying she should, or I'm saying, yeah, you should kill your man. No. She has her mind snapped, really snapped. She went crazy in the same way Raskolnikov killed the old woman in a snapping, determined fashion. Or like later on, we shall see in The Stranger, the same thing, Merceau, how also he suddenly shot dead somebody. And each one of them here, really, the idea of crime here, each one of them has his own funny, crazy reasons of committing his or her crime. And, you know, this is the idea I'm trying here to really say. Maria went on and to say that, and here, after Maria went away, she met Victor, and here we meet Victor again, maybe for the first time. You know, when Victor again, remember, we know him, as I said, he is a very, very close friend to the family, to her and her husband, and he is a shepherd, he's a very nice young man, and so on. So now, again, the way she speaks to him and the way Victor told her and speaks to her, you know, he's saying again the same thing about wanting or having a baby, the way he speaks to her. Notice the way they were speaking. Victor said, if it's a girl, name her after yourself. Yerma trembling, what? Victor, I'm happy for you. Yerma almost choking, no, they are not mine, they are for Maria's baby. Victor, fine, let's see if her example encourages you. This house needs a child. Yeah, really, this is sometimes, you know, true. People say that, yeah, because when you really feel this, and Victor is saying the truth, said, come on, you should get a baby, because, you know, you've been married for a long time and you've been lonely for a long time, you should get a baby. And he said that, you know, this is very touching phrase to say, this house needs a child, meaning your house. Yerma with anguish, needs one? You can do it. You see, Victor again said it in a real, spontaneous, absolutely honest way. Victor is an absolutely innocent young man, honest young man, good, absolutely honorable young man. He has nothing to do with Yerma, absolutely nothing to do with her. There is no 1 inch or one little, you know, itch of funny relationship with Yerma. Victor and Yerma are absolutely like brothers and sisters. But because he was, if you like, her friend when they were younger, she maybe had some feelings for him, but they were like children. And here really Victor is very respectful and talking to Yerma like a sister. When he's saying to her, you should have a baby, you should have a child. And when he's saying this, yes, you can do it. Yes, you can have a baby. Tell your husband to think about notice, to think about work less, meaning he's working all the time in the fields. Let him pay attention to you and to your house, to your family, to have a baby. He wants to make money, and he will. But who will he leave it to when he dies? Yeah. When you have a lot of money and you make money and make money and make money and make money, and you have nobody to give this money to, it's a shame. You save and save and save, and your money will go to charity or to somebody else, not to your kids. And here really Victor is saying exactly the real thing, how we people think. You know, we work and save money because we say, I'll give this to my kids, I'll give this to my children, you know, no problem. I live in a nice way, but I will give away all this money to my kids. And we people, we parents, we love to give to our children. We really do. We love to give our children. But if you have a lot of money and you have no kids, sometimes you wonder, you say, who's going to take this money after I go? And really that's what Victor is truly and nicely and honestly, and I agree with him. Stop worrying a lot about money, making money all the time. Why are you crazy about money when you have no children? When you have no children, working days and nights. Come on. You know, that's what he's saying. I'm going out to my sheep. You know, notice here, Victor, very realistic, and is just saying few words to Yerma, and he went away. I'm going out to my sheep. Tell Juan to take the two he brought from me. You know, he came to tell her that he's giving Juan 2 sheep that he has for him. And about the other thing, notice Victor in a nice, really, as I said, absolutely brotherly, innocent way, said, about the other thing, meaning about having a child, about having a baby, he said, and about the other thing, try harder. He exits smiling. Yerma passionately, that's it, try harder. Yeah, as if to say, well, I'm trying very hard. I am horribly trying hard, but my husband, absolutely, my husband is unbelievable. He's not. And, you know, this is, of course, the second scene here, because as you can see, the play is divided into, I think, some 3 scenes or 4 or 5 scenes, I think. I don't know, we'll see. And here we see another scene, Yerma with another example, with another woman who is telling her about the meaning of marriage and the meaning of love and the meaning of, you know, having a child or whatever. And here we see the writer says, first old woman, you know, say first old woman. Again, it's like Saadallah Wanous's play, first man, second man, third man, first woman, second woman, etc. As if to say, you know, characters' names here or naming characters is not really important. You know, just to give idea, the ideas are the important ones. And here this first woman says exactly the same thing about having children and about, you know, how do you look at the idea of having children and how worrying about, you know, children and so on. And here Yerma, you know, she was telling her about her family, and, you know, the first old woman started to tell her exactly about her own past and about her, you know, relationships. Notice here, she's telling her about how wild she was when she was a child, when she was a young lady. And she said, nearly I was married to one of your relatives. And, you know, she said this here about her father. You know, she said that here in a nice way. Notice she said, many times at dawn, I've run to the door thinking I heard music ebbing and flowing, but it was only the breeze. She laughs. You will laugh at me. I have had 2 husbands, 14 children, 6 of them dead, and yet I'm not sad. And I would like to go on living a long time. Hear what I say. Fig trees last, houses last, and it's only we bewildered women who turn to dust for some reason. You know, it's really amazing quote here. I like this. Notice how she's saying this. You know, fig trees last, houses last, we women don't last. And notice here she said, bedeviled, bedeviled. Notice, bedeviled. You know, really, this is amazing to say how, why is she saying bedeviled? Yeah? And here, really, this is what I'm saying, how women are classified by society. Absolutely marginalized, absolutely stigmatized, absolutely seen as, if you like, you know, here haunted by devils or haunted by problems, classed by society to be, you know, if you like, devil bearers, or like, you know, witches, or like evil creatures who are always wanting to destroy society, wanting to damage society, wanting, etc., to, you know, to do so funny things. Of course, in addition to the idea to say, we are unlucky. We are unlucky. We try and try and try, but still we are unlucky. We don't last. We turn to dust. We turn to dust. We disintegrate. Whereas, she said, you know, fig trees, houses last. Of course, this is symbolical. Really, she's metaphorical and symbolical. Meaning we waste our life. We waste our bodies to give children. And notice she said, I had 2 husbands. I had 2 husbands and 14 children, 6 of them dead. And she said, I'm not worried. I'm not angry. I'm not sad. I'm not sad. And she said, I would like to go on living a long time. She said, if I can, I would give more children. If I can, if I could, I would marry again. I would have more and more children. As if to say, well, that's us. That's us, women. We want to give babies. We want to give children. You know, we have people like that. This is real. This is not fiction. This is real. I know people who had 14 children. I know in real life, I know people who had 14 children. 14 children. Can you believe it? Yes. So, yeah, I mean, here again, this old woman is giving her another shot, really another shot to say, this is reality. And how you should treat your husband, how you should love your man, and so on. And this is how she, spoke to her. Yerma here, lowering her voice. What you know, why am I a barren? Notice, why am I barren? You see, here as if to say, people tell me people class me as I am a barren woman, a woman with no ability, no, possibility of having, children, as if I am a dead land. Whereas, of course, there are cases, and this is again natural. We know that there are women who can't have children for some medical reason, for some healthy or some health bodily reasons. Yes, this is nature. But here Yerma said, I am not. Why am I? Why am I? Must I spend my whole life tending chickens or bleating curtains for my windows? No. She's saying, am I a slave here? Am I working the whole life as a slave, looking after chicken or cows or sheep, or washing or doing housework, all the time doing housework? She said, no. You must tell me what to do, and I will do it, even if you tell me to stick needles into the most delicate parts of my eyes. What a shame. What a shame. I really believe her. She said, I want a baby, even if it means I have to stick needles into my own eyes. If it needs to stick needles into my own eyes, I will do it, because I want a baby. Yeah. I understand. I really understand that. I mean, I'm saying this because I'm a father, and I know what a child means to parents, to have a baby, to have a child, really. And I know women who said this. I really do. I know women who said that exactly, who said exactly the same thing. I know them in real life. Yeah. You see, so Yerma saying, I want a child, for God's sake. And here this old woman told her stories and stories about that. Please read all this, because as you can see, really, I don't know really, if I want to, telling or reading here some of what she's saying here, about the question, what she's talking about, her children and so on. She said, always, this is my worry. And the old woman here spoke to her about intimate things, how she, she treats her husband, or what her husband really treats her, and so on. When really she said that here, of course, notice here this question, really, this question, when she remembers, and maybe people would blame her. Notice what she said. How do you feel when your husband comes to you or touches you or whatever? She's asking her intimate questions, and she's answering. And Yerma saying, I don't feel such a thing in a way. And here she said, he held me by the waist and I couldn't say a word. I couldn't speak. Another time when I was 14, Victor, he was a trapping lad, took me in his arms to cross a ditch, and I started shaking so much my teeth chattered. But it was because I was ashamed. You see, I think this is the idea. If ever Yerma had any feelings for Victor, this is the evidence. saying maybe when we were kids, only 13 or 14, and he was helping me just to cross a ditch. You know, he just noticed, held me in his arms. You know, that's not a big deal, you know. And this was, you know, if you like, an innocent thing. And really the idea, of course, again, notice she said, what do you feel? How do you feel with your husband? And notice how she thinks of her husband here. I think this is the idea. Notice, that is different. My father gave me to him and I accepted him. You know, notice the way she said that. You know, look at the verb she said, gave me to him. Gave me to him. Meaning, my father made me marry this man. He gave me to him and I accepted him. Again, she said, happily. That is the plain truth. You know, again, here she is thinking, because that's why when you say, you know, the whole sentence, you say happily in one sentence, as if really it's not happily, because when she puts it in one sentence, as if, you know, thinking what to say, whether that thing was happy or not. And she said, you know, that was clear. You know, that was clear, that means later on, then it means that I loved him. From the first day I was married to him, I thought about children. And I could see myself in his eyes. And I could see myself in his eyes. Yes, but it was myself rendered small, manageable, as if I were my own daughter. Wow, look at that. As if I was my own daughter. I mean, I think this is crazy. You know, she's really thinking and thinking. She said, from the first day, I was given to him. I married him. He's my husband. I'm happy. I love him as a husband. And therefore, I want a child. I want children. And from first day, I see myself, I'm married to him. Therefore, we need children. And we are here to have children. And she said, all the time, I thought of myself as having a child. And always I thought, as a young lady, I was always easy to go. I was easy to handle. I was simple. I was naive. I would accept anything he wants. I will do anything he wants and he likes, as if I was a younger woman, as she said, as if I were my own daughter, you know, which is really amazing here. And this is, again, you know, it's a shame, really real. And this woman telling her, come on, why do you feel this? You know, as if to say, the idea to say, you should treat your man, you should treat your husband in a different way, you know, telling her really here in a funny situation about how to, if you like, really the question of how you should treat your man and how, you know, wives and husbands treat each other, the way they should think of each other and so on. You know, there are some intimate, really, if you like, suggestions here, and about the question here, about the whole idea of the question of pleasure, because people get married not just for children, because, you know, the whole idea of love and the meaning of life and the meaning of happiness, and, you know, the whole question of life is a complicated thing. She's saying it's not just babies, it's not just kids, you know, it's not just eating and drinking, it's not just going to market and just getting gold and getting food and so on. You know, it's a whole package. You know, it's really a whole massive package. Here she is saying about it. And maybe Yerma is, if you like, unsure or, you know, about all this. And she said, no, not empty, no, because I'm filled with self-loathing. Yerma here, again, the idea to say about the question, notice here, let me highlight this a little bit. No, no, not empty, no, because I'm filled with self-loathing. Tell me, is it my fault? Should one seek in a man just the man and nothing more? You see here, again, this is the question, you know, the idea really, again, as I'm saying, the question of intimacy, how you should really look at your man, how you really should look at your husband, your partner. And the idea really is emotional again, is emotional. She said, is it my fault? Do you think I have some problem myself? You know, if you like, again, you know, the question of the whole thing, how the whole physical thing should function, you know. As I said, the old woman here is telling her a lot of, again, realistic things, which really people sometimes worry about, and sometimes they don't know, and sometimes they misapply or misrepresent, and so on. Really, again, all this, you know, in very strange way, really. She's using all this idea about what to do about it, and then she comes back again to say about being, you know. Oh, somebody is apologizing. Okay. Now, again here, notice she went back again to the question of, oh, did I lose connection? Have I lost connection?
No, doctor.
Yeah.
No, doctor.
Yeah, okay, good. Notice here, she, again, this old woman saying to her, the idea about, again, looking at the whole situation as being lucky or unlucky, or it's something to do by, you know, to do with luck and heaven and so on. Again, to say about how you know, to do that. Notice here, I think there are, I don't know, I want to read maybe one or two examples here. Notice. Yeah, here, maybe I'll read some of this here. Yeah, I'm in a hurry, she said. The first girl here, we have more characters coming, you know. Here again, another character, the first girl, again, another character again, which is not named again. I'm in a hurry, I left the baby asleep, and there's no one in the house. So here we have another woman example. So we met Maria, we met here this older woman, this old woman, and here we have another example, another girl, again talking about her baby and using the word even say girl. Again, Yerma said, then hurry woman, children should not be left alone if there are any swine roaming around your place, you know. So again we see here how much really Yerma you know, is very careful, and she knows how to look after kids, you know. Notice, but you are right, I'm going now. Go, that's how things can happen. Surely you have locked the door. Of course, even so, you don't realize what a little child is. Things that seem nothing to us might do away with them, with him. A little needle, a mouthful of water. You can see really from the language, the terms that really Yerma uses. You know, you can see how much she's really, you can think of as a real, absolutely, you know, experienced mother. You know, she knows how to look after her baby, how to take care of them, and so on. Again, we have another example here of another girl. Again, it is second girl. She said, second girl, if you had 4 or 5, you wouldn't speak like that. Why not if I had 40? You know, as if to say, you are speaking like this because maybe you don't have children, or even if you have 4 or 5 children, you wouldn't say things like this. And Yerma said, no, even if I had 40. Anyway, you and I who have none live more peacefully. So here we have a second girl who is still waiting for a baby like her. And she's saying, don't say this. Don't say this. Now we don't have, now we have no children. We shouldn't worry. And Yerma said, no, I don't. Meaning, I want one. Second girl, I do. What a bother they are. You see, this is an opposite view of a young lady, unlike Yerma, who is absolutely, you know, who doesn't care about kids. Notice, I do, meaning I don't want them. What a bother they are. Yet my mother insists on giving me herbs, so I will produce. Notice the language that she uses, I will produce. And my mother insists on giving me herbs, you know, like medications to have a baby. And in October, we are going to pray to the saint who they say grants children to women who yearn for them. My mother will ask for them, not I. Look at this funny young lady here who's saying, I don't care about children, but my mother does. But my mother is worried a lot because she wants me to have a baby. And my mother will do this for me and will do this for me and do this for me because she wants me to have a baby and I don't care. You know? Yeah, of course. And Yerma was angry. Why marry then? Huh? Why marry then? Because they made me marry. Wow. They made me marry. Huh? They make everyone marry. If it goes on like this, there will only be little girls left. Yeah, so you see, this is really the logic, of course, the idea. If it goes on like this, there will only be little girls left. Anyway, in reality, you are married long before you go to church. But the old women fret about these things. I'm 19 and I hate cooking and cleaning. And now I have to spend the whole day doing what I hate. What for? Why did my husband need to become my husband? Huh? We do the same now as before. It's all old women's foolishness. Well, I don't know. I mean, if you really support this, you have to tell me how and why, you know, because I don't like what she's saying. Really, it's not only cooking and cleaning. I hate cooking and cleaning. Wallah. And now I have to spend the whole day doing what I hate. What do you like? What do you want to do? Why? What for? Why am I doing all this? Why did my husband need to become my husband? Why, you know? And Yerma said, shh, don't say such things. And second girl, you will be calling me crazy too. Crazy, crazy. I tell you the one thing I have learned in my life. Everybody's stuck in their houses doing what they don't want to do. It's so much better outside. I go to the stream. I climb up the ring. I climb up and ring the bells. I take a drink of anesthetic. Yeah, really, this second girl is an amazing, exaggerating, absolutely wild, free, open, absolutely free, open young lady who is complete contrast to say, yeah, you know, I want to be free. I don't want to do something I don't like. And you know, sometimes, yeah, when you say, I know many people who are doing things that they don't like. You know, she said, everybody is stuck in their houses doing what they don't like to do, what they don't want to do. Maybe yes, maybe yes. And she said, I don't want to be inside. I want to go outside. I want to go to the stream, to the river, to the mountain. I want to go and jump around in the mountain. I want to be free, totally free. Yeah, okay, but how long you be crazy? You will be running out in the wilderness. How many days and years you want to stay in the wilderness and climbing up the mountain and going to the stream? How many times you want to spend outside? Are you coming inside? When do you want to come inside? Tell me, come on. And Yerma said, hey, shut up. You're only a child. Yeah, I mean, this is the first answer. Sure, but I'm not crazy. Does your mother live at the top of the village? And here really, Yerma asking her another question for her own sake. And, you know, she goes on, please, as I told you, ladies, I think, of course, next time we will have the test, but maybe next week, I will, the first meeting of next week, I will finish the whole play. Please read it all. As you can see, really, I can't read it all together because it's very simple and very nice to read on your own. Okay? And I think I will stop here and I will continue next time. If you have any question, please, ask. Yeah? Any question?